Last week on Simmo or Bust, our team finally made it to the Simpson desert. And it was touch and go there for a while, with the Blitz presenting Matt and Leash some serious issues.
I've never seen anything like this before.
But thanks to good old Aussie ingenuity and plenty of thoughts and prayers, the Blitz is patched up and going under its own steam.
So we've put every band-aid in Birdsville on that motor. If it's going to work, it's going to work, and if not, well, we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. That's what adventure is all about. So if anybody has the mechanical sympathy to keep this motor together, it's going to be Leash and Jesse's.
While the Blitz was being worked on, Jamie and Jess took the convoy out to Big Red, where they had a whole load of fun.
Hey! Ladies and lines.
Did you see that? That was wheel lift, eh?
And plenty of friendly rivalry.
It's alright, mate. Yeah, I'm just going to give the radio to Blake, eh?
Give it to me, Blake.
Do you want to jump out and let me have a go for you, mate? We can make it look like the GME car got up there.
The Landy, well, it's been going well on the flats, but its first attempt at a big sand dune didn't go as well as Jamie and Jess had hoped.
Get Jess out to go and push.
Hey, there's only 1,099 sand dunes to go, and over 400 k's of the desert between here and the finish. What could possibly go wrong? It was late in the day when Leash and Jesse, along with Matt in the all 4x4 Spares 79, made it over Big Red, and poor old Jesse got a bit of a reality check as to what the Simmo is all about.
Yeah, when we went off that first sand dune at Big Red, I panicked.
You're kidding me.
I completely forgot to kind of give Jesse the heads up.
Coming up that sand dune and looking out over the what I could see of the desert, and I thought it was an amazing view. But then Leash just sort of kept driving and she's following the tracks of the car in front, but then the track stopped and it went down, and I'm like, we're in a truck, and I was like, this... You good?
We're good.
You
Might
sure
not
we're
feel good, but we're good.
I'm feeling something. I'm going to change my pants.
How long will the Blitz last? Will the Landy have enough get up and go to make it over the sand dunes? And how will the convoy handle one of the toughest crossings we've done today? Well, you're about to find out. This is Simmo or Bust.
Well, whenever you come to the desert, you've got to go and play on Big Red. But then, when you enter the desert, you've got to go over Nemesis. Now, that one can be a challenge to everyone.
All right, guys, well, I reckon Big Red was pretty easy. But this one, a little bit more challenging. I'm going to have a go. I'll let you know how I go at the top. Corrugations are bad. When you get to the top, you're going to have a left-hand turn. Aside from that, come on up, Callum.
All right, here I come, Nemesis. Can't be harder than Big Red, really. Guys, relatively easy, very heavily corrugated, but just try and maintain a consistent speed and everything will be right.
that one. Big Red, he's a bit of a pain. Nemesis, he's a friend of mine.
That seemed way too easy. I have a feeling Nemesis is not gonna let us off this easy though.
Happy to give it another run, Blake, or how do you want to take it?
So go
It's just so bouncy, it loses track.
Yeah. Blake, you might get a little bit more out of that.
Low second or probably low third, locking low third.
I just couldn't, it just won't let me drop down a gear when I need it.
Nice work, Blake, that looked really good.
Hey?
Mike's just an I think he's the funniest bloke I've ever met that doesn't try to be funny. He's just the naturally funny, caring sort of guy. He was great just passing on some wisdom. Age is definitely not going to stop him, and I think he pushes us younger guys to sort of get in there and give it a go.
Well, that's the first victim of Nemesis. Will the Signature 200 make it? You'll have to tune in after the break.
Series, I've got all the power in the world, and should have just been able to, basically cruise over every single dune in front of us. But the camper trailer adds a whole new dynamic to what we were doing. It's effectively 2 tons of dead weight sitting on the back of the Landcruiser, and as capable as that car is, when you're trying to skull drag 2 tons over a sand dune that's however many stories high, and the sand was just so soft, we were just sinking straight down.
Winching on the first dune of the desert. This is not a great start, guys.
Here she comes. Fair bit of weight there, mate.
I had a big lunge.
The sand was super soft. I anticipated that in the Raptor. I've set it up very, very light, and it floated across most dunes, which is great. But that didn't mean I could keep going, because I was in front of other cars that were towing trailers, So that meant a fair bit of recovery.
Because I'd had a few issues getting up onto Big Red, I was pretty concerned about how this was going to go. So I was like, well, let's just see whether she crawls it. So put her into gear. Now you've got to shuffle the gears down. I wasn't quite at the point where I could do that on the fly, so I just started in second. Heading up the hill, I was just kind of going, it's still going, it's still going. It's actually climbing, it's doing all the things. Now, camper trailers before us had all got stuck. And some of the cars really struggled as well, so I was blown away by this thing just tractoring up the hill. Now there was a point that I did get stuck, and I guess a little bit of adrenaline kind of kicked in, and I didn't want to be snatched, I didn't want to be winched. I wanted to give this a go. I wanted to see, I was so impressed with where it got. Let's just see if I can get it a little bit further. So, put it into first gear, started moving the wheels around a little bit, looking out the window, trying to see where they were, and thing bloody well climbed all the way to the top and over the crest. And I was just so excited, fist pumping the air and just completely over the moon, thinking, okay, maybe this trip might not be so bad.
That was awesome! 2 dunes down, only another 1,000. I can't do the math, but lots. No, I'm not.
We're not the first ones through the QAA line this time round, but there's been very little traffic. But the ones that have gone through, they've obviously got themselves stuck because it's been a major slow run for us to get through because that sand is just not well run.
Yeah, so the dunes were just, no 2 dune was the same. The change in the dunes from one dune to the next was just, it was constant, and you try and read the dune and you try and look at what the person ahead of you was doing, if you had someone ahead of you, to try and get a few tips. That always wouldn't help. That would, sometimes it would lead you down the wrong path, because just because they've picked a line doesn't mean it's the right one. I think there was one where I tried to be a little bit cautious because there was a lot of real sharp left-hand turns, and I slowed down just that little bit too early and actually bottomed out. And got the belly hung up of the car and sort of was just kicking sand up everywhere. So you tried to read the dunes, you did the best you could, but you had to take it almost a foot at a time.
The Simpson Desert is about 500 k's with the QAA line and also the French line. Now that first part there is the QAA. Now you're heading through and it is just relentless. It is dune after dune. We're surprisingly making it up some of the ones a little bit easier than the other guys, which just quietly I was a little excited about. But you're just continually going up and up and up and up. You know, you head over one, you see the next, you're looking at it going, okay, what's this one got installed?
Of course, Jamie is going to have the first shift of driving the Landy. Not only is he experienced in the desert, but he's a Landy man. So I really wanted to see how he handled it so I didn't stuff anything up.
Yeah, several hours driving. I think we rolled into camp that night around 10-ish, 10:30 o'clock. It wasn't too late, but yeah, it was great first day, great first night.
So today we have done 12 kilometres. I could say I'm not really a happy camper at the moment.
By the time we got into camp on the first night, we found a whole raft of new problems. Engine mounts which were busted, exhaust which was falling off, oil leaks we didn't know about. And we had to sort all of these out overnight. So Conno and I got just hooked in. Toby came and gave us a hand, and we just hooked in there and we just addressed all of those issues. And now we started to realise we had a chance. It was very, very slim, but possibly we could get over this desert.
Yesterday was tough, and we didn't make it as far as we had hoped. But today is a new day and everyone has woken up keen to punch out some Ks. Looking at the maps, we want to at least make it to Popple's Corner today and make camp there. Matt has spent a heap of time on the Blitz again last night, securing the gearbox and trying to get a bit more power out of the operation.
You won't be able to handle the power in this, so you be very careful.
Spinning wheels and doughies, eh?
You'll be
Don't
looking
go back
doughies.
to two-wheel drive.
Don't, no,
It'll
no,
just
no,
break
no,
away
no,
on
no.
it.
Yeah, and it'll step out,
Yeah.
and it hasn't got a fast enough steering input to be able to correct
I
it.
don't know.
It's just not going to happen. So you be careful.
Last night we finally got a bit of a run and stretch of legs, and it did really well. Did really well.
No issues, Jamie?
With Landy, no issues with Landy. Jess, on the other hand, another story.
There seems to become like a whining from here, like it's coming from that direction over there.
Well guys, I reckon we had a cracking camp last night. I reckon if we can get some kilometres under the belt today, who wants to get in and have a ride in one of the old girls, whether it be the old Blitz or the old Landy? What about you, Louis?
Yeah, absolutely. Count me in for a ride in the Landy.
So what's it going to be, Blake? Which one?
Which one has air conditioning again?
Honestly, Blake, I reckon the Blitz will do you well because you really sit back comfortably and you can put your legs out and it's a real nice ride in the passenger seat.
That's all you've been doing this time in the car with Jess, isn't it?
No, I can't. It's really tight in this one.
Well, I had a few hours wrenching on that Blitz, so I'm definitely looking forward to jumping in that one, folks.
Good on you, Cal. What about you, Mark?
I'm waiting until they put the supercharger in the Blitz. I want to see how that goes and turn into a bit of a comp truck.
Yeah, well, they done the turbo last night.
Have they sorted out the leather seats and the fridge in the centre console?
Yeah, not sure about that part, but look, we'll just all have a go, I reckon. I reckon we head on to Popple's Corner for the day. Oh, well, we'll stop on the way, but we'll head for Popple's Corner tonight.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan. Lead the way, Jamie.
Jess is on it.
Day 2, we're on the QAA again. Now, this is something I have driven before, but I never have remembered it being this tough. And I'm sitting there thinking, is it just the Blitz? Is it just because I'm driving this car? Or is this different? I don't remember it this way. Granted, some of the cars I've crossed the desert in have been beautiful cars, including mine and also a 200 series. So they've got a fair bit of power and I'm driving pretty much a tractor. So there is a lot of difference in that. But I guess I'm also looking at some of the other guys getting sort of a little bit hung up on some of those dunes, and again, it is just relentless. So I'm thinking maybe it's not the Blitz, maybe it is actually the desert.
So being my first desert crossing, having guys like Jamie or Jess as well, the girls there, to give me some tips and pointers, worked out really well. Really helped me find my groove a lot quicker than I would have on my own, so really thankful for the extra help I got there. Best thing I probably learnt the whole time was tyre pressures. How important tyre pressures are, that even just dropping a few PSI made the world of difference.
Along with us on this adventure are some of our good mates and partners, and having a good crew makes all the difference. Callan from Club 4x4 has travelled with us a few times now, both solo and with his family. For this adventure, he's chosen to bring along the trusty Raptor. Let's find out a bit more about this great rig.
Well, Cal, we've had you on a few trips before with this rig. It always goes as one of the best in the convoy. What have you done to it?
Well, surprisingly, Jess, not a whole lot. And I think that's kind of the point. I haven't really changed too much about the Raptor. It's so good out of the box. So for me, it was, how do I set myself up to be somewhere magical like this, or Fraser, which was our last trip, but not really change too much of the characteristics of the car. So surprisingly, not a lot. Bit of protection around the place. So the Rhino bar on the front, it has an integrated light bar, obviously some space to house our radio, which is obviously critical out here in terms of comms and things like that. That bar work is also complemented with the sliders on the side, rear bar, and also the sports cage on the top there where the Jerry's are sitting. So protection was paramount, so that was really important. But with that protection, swapping plastic out for steel, it added a little bit more weight which I was really careful about the weight side of things with this, and you're going to get a vibe for that. But as a result, we had some droop in the front, so we added some Tough Dog leveling springs. So we did not add any lift to this vehicle. It's completely stock in terms of its height.
Wow, you've obviously changed the tyres on it.
Yeah, so the Toyo RTs have been great. So yeah, we did change the tyres on it. It did come with off-road tyres, but we just wanted something a little bit more aggressive for all the different types of driving we're doing, and also the Method race wheels, which just add a really nice touch to the car. I've been running Toyos for some time now, and I've always been really happy with them. The RT is kind of an in-between between the all-terrain and the mud terrain. So look, it's been great on this trip, and it's handled all sorts of pressure right down to 12 pound, depending on the circumstances. I really couldn't bear the thought of not getting up Big Red as quickly as possible, so that was really helpful.
I see the jerry cans on the back. I believe you don't have a long-range tank in this, is that right?
Yeah, no, so there is no long-range tank. Again, it's a weight thing for me. So this vehicle gets used for so many different things, from ferrying the kids to school to moving stuff around for the various events that we get to, but also this sort of thing, you know, getting out on trips and enjoying it for what it's really made for.
So when I called Jesse, his biggest concern was that he's not a four-wheel driver. He's never driven on sand, ever. And he was concerned that although he knew he could probably drive the car okay, what was he going to do with the sand stuff? How was he going to go four-wheel driving? Now, I explained to him that I can teach someone how to four-wheel drive, but I can't teach someone what he already knows in terms of being able to drive old cars.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're driving off a cliff. What?
Hey, you'll remember it for a while, won't you?
It was freaky, just the noises the car were making, and like the revs that it was doing and everything that was going on in the car, and the noises, the banging and the clanging, and I'm like, it was frightening that it was making these noises, but it just sort of kept going, so.
Gets louder, but it keeps going.
It definitely does that. He blew me away. He was taking on board everything that I was doing during the day. Now, for someone who has no experience, he was just doing his thing, and he was shuffling up those hills. You know, when we got stuck, he was jumping out, he was getting the winch, he was doing everything that he needed to do. He was just fully into it, and I could not have asked for a better person sitting next to me.
I tell you what, this is by far the best view. Standing up here, looking out, having the wind in your hair, and you're looking at the dune above. And trying not to get jerked around by Jesse's driving. Joking.
I think I was probably a little bit more cautious at the start with leash, because mainly I didn't want to be the guy that blew it up on the first day. I didn't have to make sure it got it to the end, I just didn't need to be the excuse that it didn't get to the end.
Many of the four-wheel drives today are automatic, and this vehicle, this 79 from All 4x4 Spares, is an automatic 79. It's had the conversion done and it's brilliant. I love driving it. But it's also got the manual automatic selection, so I can choose the gear that it's in. Now, when you're off-road, leaving it in drive is fine, but it doesn't give you the level of control if you put it into the manual selection mode. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I've got the gearbox in third gear, and now that's so that I can get some momentum. As I get onto the sand dune and start to need power, I'll downshift into second. And here we go, into second. Now I've got the power, and up we go. If I need more power, I can go down to first, but I want wheel speed as well in sand. So there we go. So that's how you can use your automatic gearbox in manual mode. It really will make a difference to the way you drive off-road.
Today we got a chance to swap drivers around a little bit. A couple of the sponsors wanted to have a go in the old rigs. Jamie jumped in the Tough Dog Hilux. Blake jumped in with me when I was driving the Landy. Welcome to the mighty Landy.
Well, it is mighty. I'm not sure what for though yet. We'll find out. Jamie's living it up in luxury in the Hilux now.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's more suited to something like that anyway.
Yeah, look.
He's a bit too soft.
In the later years.
Yeah,
he is a bit soft,
he
is
is. He's getting old, you know. He's heading to his 80s. It's just like you guys go up like every time.
Yep, she just crawls up, mate.
Wow, how good is this?
Yeah, it's just like a tractor, you just don't even have to hold on.
This is what happened the other night when I was trying to follow you. You gave me too much confidence I could go this slow.
Okay.
And I got stuck straight away.
Yeah, no.
Suspension's a bit rough.
You reckon?
Yeah. Jamie, how's it going back there and all that luxury?
Look, you just interrupted me. I had to turn the music down and I've just turned the air conditioning down just a little bit, but it's going quite well, thanks.
You must have loved feeling the wind through your hair up here if you had some. I mean, it would have been a pretty cool experience.
Oh, I can only imagine how you're enjoying that drive.
Mate, this is luxury at its finest in the 1960s.
At least you know that you'll get through. So Blake's been having a good go at me today, how he would love to travel in the little Landy. So I said to Jess, I said, do you want to swap and he comes in here and I drive, or do you want to sit in there and go with Blake? Anyway, so Blake's jumped into the Landy, I'm in his Hilux, and how good does he have it? His console's full of ollies, the air conditioning's blasting, it's automatic, we're just cruising along, I've got the signature camper on the back, and how comfortable and cozy am I sitting in here? I don't know how he's going in there, because he's a bit, what can I say? He loves his creature comforts.
Go the Landy, up the Landy, up the Landy. Come on, little Landy. Come on, little Landy. Oh, speak too soon, I speak too soon. What? What is going on? I don't feel like it's in gear properly. Normally this thing just crawls up. Nothing like a backwards angel glide down a sand dune. Whee! Alright. But these old girls, their tank and fuel system is a little bit different, so sometimes you can't start if you're on a rise.
It's harder to talk about it with 3 pumps.
3 pumps.
Yeah, so don't worry about that, you just do the start bit.
Okay.
Ignition on?
Yep.
No, it's not. Okay.
Okay, so what happened was it ran out of fuel halfway up the dune. I've switched over tanks, but it couldn't pick up the fuel because it was obviously on unlevel ground. So we've come it back down and I've tried to start it and I couldn't get it, so I've flooded the motor. So we're just gonna sit here and wait for it to settle.
All good.
She'll be right.
Had these in the Hilux the whole time. After Jess shut the door on my face in the Vic High Country, I thought I'd let it wait it out a little bit. But after being that Land Rover this morning, I think it definitely needs an upgrade time.
I've got Jamie in with me now and we've got the rig actually started.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's way better.
I'm feeling it already. Yeah, we got this. Exactly. Helps when there's fuel in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Jess. Another great drive.
Well, Jess, I did feel a little bad after sitting in the car for a while with you. I did think I got my revenge after what you did in Victoria. So I reckon tonight we'll put these on, give you a bit more comfort for the rest of the trip.
You're shocking, eh?
Oh.
And I thought he was your friend. What I would like to do though, is I would like for us to film him fitting them.
I've got a sore shoulder, otherwise
And I tell you, that afternoon was absolutely magical. Driving an old Land Rover through the red dunes at sunset, it was just, oh, it was amazing. It's something that I will never ever forget.
One of the things that I absolutely love about vehicles like this is the joy that they bring people that are car enthusiasts. I offered Mike a drive. There was no hesitation whatsoever.
Accelerator's down the bottom there and the brake is up the top. So they're a little bit muddled up.
Only a lot.
Yeah.
Mike picked it up so quickly.
Well, Mike is driving the Blitz.
Who wants a 200 series?
When you can have a Blitz.
He was so comfortable. He shuffles that thing quicker than me. And he was just heading up hills, having a chat. There was no qualms in it, and he was doing it seamlessly. He really impressed me, but also just the calmness about it and the smile on his face was just gold.
I've driven a lot of trucks in my time, but I've never driven anything quite like that. It's slow, it's hot, it's dusty, it's rattly, right? But every time it come to a sand dune, it would just clunk, 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 clunk away, going up the sand dune. And just an amazing vehicle for a 1940s model vehicle.
Mark, I think, was a little bit nervous jumping into the Blitz.
Cool.
Cool. What are you finding that you're actually driving it in generally?
Pretty much second and third, depending on what it is.
But I know he drives trucks, and you've got to have a truck license to drive this one.
It's not right. It's not right.
Within a couple of dunes, he had it pretty down pat.
It's like a Scania.
And to see someone like that do that is why I love these vehicles, is when you see people enjoying them for what they're worth.
So a little tip while you're driving in convoy in these really dusty, sort of arid desert conditions, you always have a temptation to follow along quite closely. But there's a lot of dust in the air, so hanging back a little bit means that you've got a much clearer field of vision in front of you for any obstacles or any issues that might approach, but also a bit of preservation for your car, because it will breathe all of that dust in. Yes, we have air filters, yes, we can change them, but if you just hang back, it just makes that journey a whole lot more relaxed.
In the Blitz, there's a lot of noises, and Jessie and I have learnt what noises are okay and what ones are new ones. Now, when there's a new noise, we listen to it. If it stays there for longer than a couple of minutes, we start to get a little bit worried. Now, all day we've been saying that the gearbox had been moving and there was a few bits and pieces that were going on in terms of some metal clanging, and we couldn't quite work out what it was. We even put a GoPro underneath the car to try and work out what it was. We figured it was the gearbox, and we actually held that up with a ratchet strap to try and keep that sort of in its position. Later on in the day though, we were heading just across the salt pan. We heard quite a large metal hitting metal, and we kind of looked at each other and went, that didn't sound right, but the noise went away. So we went, okay, we drove across the salt pan. Then we got to the other side and there was this little rock that we went to get up. As we went to get up that rock, there was a huge noise and I lost all drive. Jessie and I looked at each other, straight away said, that was the shaft. He jumped out, had a look under and went, yep, that's not ideal.
roadside assistance. Matthew, roadside assistance.
We called Matt on the radio and he came through. Now, luckily it wasn't too bad. It hadn't snapped anything, so we could actually put it all back together.
Yeah, we need a little bit. We need 4 bolts, that's all.
4 bolts? Surely you
4
could have found another 4 bolts in this
we've
thing.
been looking, but
Yeah, so the tail shaft came out, eh?
yeah, we
All right.
cling, clang, clang.
You know what it needs?
What?
It's a bucket of bolts.
There already is a bucket of bolts.
Do you want to know what I have?
A bucket of bolts.
I do. In my bucket of bolts, I have a 15-ton jack and a funnel and bits of metal and bearing stuff and things. And then down the bottom, past the hose, I've got bolts. Lots and lots of bolts.
Again, Mike from Clearview was jumping straight in there.
So what's happened up here, Mike, is the tail shaft bolts on here, these 4 nuts have come loose and the tail shaft's fallen out, rattled around inside here, busted the handbrake drum, fallen on the ground, and that's the end of that story.
While some of our convoy members have years and years of experience, we also have some young blood on the trip. And Lewis from GME has spent plenty of time on the beaches, but this is his first foray into the sands of the desert, and his mighty MUX has been doing him proud. Let's take a look.
All right, Lewis, the MUX has been doing phenomenally well on the tracks. What actually made you choose it?
Well, when I first decided I wanted a new four-wheel drive, I decided to go for the best bang for buck, and in my opinion, I thought that was the MUX, and also I didn't mind the shape of it once you did a few things to it, so worked out all right.
Yep, what have you done to the front of it?
So the front, I go on the bull bar, I've got a winch, light force spotties on the front, as you can see, GME aerial, no surprise there, and I've also got the recovery points and bash plates underneath to protect it when I may accidentally hit something.
All right, round the side, let's have a bit of a squiz what's around here.
So welcome to my humble abode.
It's great.
Yeah, so very sort of basic setup. I'm a simple guy myself, so just the awning and swag and the camp chair gets me done.
Oh, absolutely. And I see a bit of, what are those things for?
Oh yeah, I've got like the solar shade, solar screen things,
yeah.
Just to keep the car a little bit cooler when it's nice and hot. Saves the batteries working a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. What a little rig. What tyres have you got on this?
So they're 31.5 all-terrains, so no need for muddies. I'm not really doing that much intense stuff. So set of all-terrains gets me to and from the shops and also out on the tracks.
All right, what have you got in the back there? I think there's a water tank in there, is that right?
Yeah, in the back seat I've got a removable 40-litre footwell tank. So if I've got my mates in the back, I can pack it in when I'm going away and then take it out as needed.
Yeah, it's just a chameleon, isn't it?
That's it. It's
just have a look around the back. I think this is a very important mod.
Absolutely. Right, time to hit the road. Russell Coy, absolute classic. In the back, drawers, nice flat canvas. Got a little pull-out table for meal prep. One side's usually got my dry foods and cutlery and stuff, and the other side usually houses my recovery gear and some tools if I need them. Fridge goes in there. No drop slide or anything like that because, as I mentioned, I often need this space for what I do on the weekends when I'm not away touring or during my work life. So it allows me to have the freedom to actually put things in the back.
And the less weight as well.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of weight and this is only, a medium-sized vehicle.
It is only a medium-sized 4B, so weight is paramount, so keeping it down as much as I can. So yeah, the fridge powered by, I've got a slimline lithium battery and a DC-DC charger behind there to keep that going when I turn the car off. Also powered up, I've got a little twin pack of 2-watt handhelds that I keep on me, great for spotting out on the tracks and that.
Of course they're GME.
Absolutely, you know me. So I got those there and I've got a foldable solar blanket that I throw out if I'm doing a bit of a longer stay and I'm not hitting the road as often.
Do you have any mods or anything in here?
Oh, absolutely. I forgot to plug it and the boss would be mad if I didn't. The GME, so I'm running the XRS Got it with the magnetic bollard, makes it super easy to put away, especially out on the tracks, and reaching down instead of fumbling with the little drop-in. The magnetic mount makes it super easy. So that's been helping me keep in touch with everyone today while we're out on the tracks. And then as a bit of a safety measure, I've got our new PLB. So if heaven forbid someone gets bit by a snake or we have a bit of a serious medical issue, we can always just sort of pull this guy out, activate him, and help be on the way.
It's not often you say that a bucket of bolts saves a bucket of bolts, but the Blitz is back on the track.
Driving into camp, we'd hoped to get to Popple's Corner, but we were about 15 k's out. Now, again, I was driving, everyone else was already in camp. We did actually say we would have liked to have seen a sunset from camp instead of from the driver and the passenger seat, because it seemed to be a repeating occurrence.
Camping in the desert, why is it so good? Well, there's so many reasons. For one, the sun rises, the sun sets, the skies at night, and just what you see along the way. And I mean, also the people you meet along the way. It's fantastic. I mean, there is no other place that you get all that in one place.
Living in a camper trailer in the Simpson desert, absolute luxury. The other guys didn't get that, they were in swags, apart from Blake. But at the end of the day, when you've had a really hard day on the tracks, to open up that camper and have a queen size mattress, have a well-appointed kitchen where you can cook, you've got hot and cold water, shower if you want. It was great, absolute luxury.
Camper was unreal. Sitting up the top in that tent each night with the sky view window and the stars, absolutely phenomenal. Coffee machine, although I don't drink coffee, everyone was always around drinking the coffees and just having the nice things like the fridge, the water on board, the lights, all that sort of stuff. It definitely makes things a lot easier.
But when we pulled in, the guys had a fire all ready, all going, and they had plenty of cold drinks, and believe me, they were needed after that day.
Next week on the final part of Simmo or Bust, our team finally make it to Popple's Corner before diving headfirst into the French line. If you thought the QAA was tough, wait till you see the size of the dunes on this side of the desert. If hour-long winching sessions, vehicle breakdowns and some of the most stunning desert sunsets don't float your boat, let's try adding a dumped camper trailer to the back of a Blitz that's being held together with hopes and prayers. Will our team make it to Mount Dare, or will this adventure be a total bust? Tune in next weekend to see how it all ends.